Man, what is it about the Jets that we just can't handle? Oh, dude, it's getting to a point where if we're playing the Jets, you can just make it as an automatic loss. Oh man, it's getting to a point where if we face them in the playoffs, which it is pretty likely, they haven't won in their recent history a playoff game, but they're probably going to win. I'm just saying that. I mean, maybe we need a guy like Chris Tanev. Perhaps Eric Carlson. What are you talking about, dude? He's a surefire Arizona Coyote. Hello guys, welcome back to DSFR, game 62, Stars versus Jets, and, well, things didn't go really their way. The Stars lose 5-3 over the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets improved to 37, 16, and 9, while the Stars decreased a little bit to 35, 23, and 4. And this one really, really stings because we almost had it, and we blew it. But we don't have time to think about that. 10 seconds in, Factor gets the offensive zone face-off. He wins it, goes right to Pitt, like he just snipes at top corner, and the Stars find themselves up 1-0, 10 seconds into the game, and I'm not complaining. We're looking good to start off the period, and we did look good into the first period. Throughout that first period, there was lots of chances. Both teams played decently in the first period. The Jets didn't get anything on the board, and for the second period, we are still 1-0 for the Stars. The Stars still lead, but just barely, as the Jets do get a few chances, but the Stars are thankful for that 1-0 lead at least. Everything is going the Stars' way, and then the second period starts. The Stars a couple of weeks ago were, I think, around first in the league in goal differential in the second period, and in the second period, just to say the least, things didn't really go their way. Now, disclaimer, I only watched the first period of this game. I was on the Audie James channel. They did a live stream. I was in it, and I was actually on screen, and I had lots of fun. And honestly, I think going on that live stream was a heck of a lot more fun than actually watching this second period, where the Jets score 5 goals, and I was just refreshing the Stars website throughout the whole thing, and I'm just thinking to myself, the Stars, just like almost every single time I refresh, are allowing a goal. It was pretty ridiculous. Now, I did not watch that second period, of course, and giving up 5 goals in the second period, I don't think they played that well. I think it's fair to assume. And all the Jets' offense was in that second period. The Jets didn't score in the first, and they didn't score in the third, so everything came in a bunch in that second period, and obviously the Stars didn't play that well, so I had to critique the second period, and that goal differential, that stat of them being so good in the second period, well, it's all the way down now. In the second period, Buffalo gets 3 assists. Ehlers gets a goal and assist, I do believe, and Malane gets 2 goals. And basically, that's just a trifecta of 3 great performances. And like those, basically, Laine and Scheifele are both like just Stars killers, man. They love to do great against the Stars. And, you know, Laine was just great in this one. A couple of great shots. I saw a couple of them, a couple of the plays of those shots, and they were just brutal, man. Just a great shot, man. Laine is incredible. Now, the Stars got a goal in the first, second, and third period, notching 3 goals in the game, but of course it was not good enough, as Lennon had the greatest performance, but the defense especially was just bad. And now I don't think I need to panic here, mostly because the defense, even though it has not been great the past week, you know, this is always what happens. You're going to have the tough streaks, and the defense was great in the second half, and it was going great, and then you're bound to have one of these weeks where it's kind of weak, and it gives up a few games where it's just looking bad. Now, the defense hasn't looked entirely bad. It has had some good games, especially the LA Kings and the Blues won, but, you know, it'll just take time. This will just want to be one of those ruts, hopefully, where the defense isn't that great. Hopefully this isn't a trend. I'm just hoping and praying for that. Didn't help that Lennon wasn't the best here to date either. I don't agree with starting Lennon at home. I just don't know if it's like a mental thing or something, but like Lennon away, fantastic goaltender. Lennon at home is not as great. Bishop at home, amazing goaltender. Bishop on the road is just visible. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't want it to be a 40-40 split from here on out, because they're going to have the same thing that they had a couple of years ago versus the Blues, where, you're going to put Lennon, or are you going to put Niemi? What's going to happen there? And I don't want the question there being there. I want Bishop to be the guy. I hope that he steps up, but I just don't want there to be question. Either have Lennon as a starter or have Bishop. I just need someone. And on the other side, you have Hutchison, who, you know, keeps the trend going of backups playing well against the Dallas Stars. He makes 33 saves, a 917 save percentage on the day. He looked good. He didn't do all that bad, and he did actually play very good for the Jets there. And starters just love to play terrible against the backups, man. I mean, they didn't play terrible. They got 3 goals, but it just wasn't enough for that defense and that goaltending that was lacking here. So the offense, it wasn't bad at all, but of course the defense goaltending let it down a little bit. Now, I'll say it again, the Jets just seem to have our number every single time we play them. We can never really stop that offense. Whenever one guy is chilled, one guy doesn't really produce, the other guy, Patrick Laine, this night just turns it on once again. You just have a cycle of offense that just keeps going. If one guy is cold, the other guy is hot. If the other guy is cold, the other guy is hot. And it's just crazy how much depth on offense they have. On the defense, especially, they have a good defensive offensive core there that can contribute through basically every single game, and they really have a tough squad. If you're looking to shut it down offensively, it's going to be very tough, and obviously the Stars didn't do that. Now, as we look to our next 4 games, they face the Flames. Now, all 4 of these next 4 games are at home, so they're on a basically home trip right now, and they're basically set as their home record is good enough to be able to beat a lot of teams. So they play the Flames, they play the Lightning, which I don't really expect to win that game necessarily. They face the Blues, which are a good opponent there, and the Senators, who, let's be honest, you should win against. The Flames are a wildcard team, basically a fringe like bubble team. They can make the playoffs, they can surprise you, as they've done before, so I wouldn't be too mad if we lost against them. They are pretty hot, no pun intended. But overall, I think that you have some winnable games in there. The Lightning are a bit iffy, the team there, just to be honest. But I think that you can win at least 2 of these games, and I think that they should win 3. And of course, I have confidence if they don't start their backup. If they start their starter, we'll win for sure. But seriously, man, I cannot stress enough how many times teams have started their backup against the Stars, and they've won, man. It seems like almost every single time the Stars would face a backup, and then they just lose against them. Just find a way to lose against backups. It's just ridiculous. Sometimes they'd score, again, 3 against a backup, but then they just find a way to lose, and it sucks because you need to win games against the backup. That's something that they really need to do, and they haven't been doing it. At least they're winning against starters, but they're definitely not winning against the backups. But one good thing to come out of this game, Sagan had 2 points, Radulov had 2 points. Pillock had a goal, which is great because he is actually a very underrated player. I think he's up to like 13 goals, something like that, something around that ballpark. And he's actually having a quietly good season goal scoring wise, and he's playing well. And of course, Faxa gets a point, which is always thankful. Faxa, one of the most underrated players in the league, and I do love him. Good to see him get a point there. It just goes to show how much of a kryptonite the Winnipeg Jets are to the Dallas Stars. Whenever we face them, it seems like we always get clobbered by them. It seems like they always score like at least 3, 4, 5 goals on us. It's just insane. Whoever we start, whoever we put on the defensive end, it always seems to not work against the Jets. And if we face them in a series, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if we get swept by them. And it's not because we're not a bad team. It's just that Winnipeg really has our number. They are super scary, and of course they are, and their fans definitely deserve that too. But I haven't watched the game really through its full thing, so I'm not going to tell you guys, and I'm not going to seem like I am going to give a full analysis of the game, because I really cannot. I'm not going to give a full analysis. I'm not going to make a 10-minute video off a game that I didn't even watch fully, so just bear in mind, whenever I don't watch a game, it's going to be a lot shorter, at least the video. Let's go to guys, like, subscribe, do not ring that bell if you haven't, and I'll see you guys later, hopefully in a different video where the Stars actually win, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.